It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Tuesday show, June 18th, 2024. Money and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox Local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, part of the over 65,000 subscribers on this platform, tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Hit that like button, subscribe. Braylon Edwards, so good to be next to you. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, Ryan and Monty. It's definitely a good afternoon. It's hot. I don't know what's outside, but that's a good thing. You know, you want it to be hot. You want to have a good summer. So excited about that. Excited. The crew, the gang's all here. First time on a Tuesday.
Long time.
Very long time. So you know what? I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
Including Tom Mazaway. Welcome back from the Jersey Shore.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Over or under on pies that you had while you were in Jersey?
How many slices of pie did
I'm
you have?
going 5.
Let me think for a minute. I'll tell you how many slices I had.
Over under 5.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, way over.
Over under 5, I'm going over.
6.
Hey, I made it by
slices.
Is that 2 slices a day?
One day was 3 slices. Another day was 2. Another day was 1.
One of my dreams in life
It was a reheat.
is to go back to Jersey with Tom Mazaway and just sit with him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when Maz goes to Jersey, it is just him sitting on the couch watching television. Isn't that what it is?
That's my everyday life.
I envision it. It's Maz kind of walking the neighborhood. Say Maz walking the neighborhood, stopping on pizza porches that he knows.
I used to go to little Joey's house over there.
Exactly.
Little Jimmy and Johnny and Jackie
We
and Jim.
did walk. My wife and I walked.
Jays.
We walked in Aaron Rodgers' neighborhood. We were right in front of his house.
Really?
Okay.
Right in front of his house. There's always construction going on in front of Aaron Rodgers' house. You used to be able to see right through, and the windows, you
Not
could see
anymore.
everything. Now he's building like a compound around it.
So here's what's funny about that. Quick question. He's building all this around his house in Jersey. He's not going to be there much longer.
He's
than
missing, by the way.
year and a half,
The
maybe?
New York Post had a story. Jersey neighbors in Cedar Grove neighborhood want to know where the Sasquatch named Aaron Rodgers has been. They have not seen him.
Well, he's on that
in
acacia
weeks.
retreat,
Yeah,
isn't he?
He's on
Ayahuasca.
that. What do you call that drug again?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, he's
So
out
this is
there.
separate from the Euro trip that
Peyote.
he was supposedly on. Is this separate or is this the same
Yeah,
thing?
I think this is one of those
This is different.
retreats where he goes dark.
This
and
is the
not
caves.
to be heard from.
yeah.
So he just said to hell with it. I'm not
Right.
doing mini camp. I'm just get everything out of the way.
The Jets are a mess, by the way. I got some more stories in around the NFL for you.
Cannot wait for that. KG is with us. Pete Spivak is with us. James is with us. Joel's in the back. I saw him earlier today. We got the whole team here, guys. Big day. Maz, first of all, before we get into it, I do want to hear about Sammy Maz. 98 years young. How old is he?
He'll be 97 in September.
97.
Knock
My
wood.
goodness.
Still
Knock
going
wood.
strong.
I tried to get him to the track. He was a little tired.
Now, is he still placing bets?
Not really.
No.
But when we go to the track, oh, yeah, for sure. But he used to be able to read the program. The poor guy can't see as well anymore.
Oh, man.
So he's got to tell me, all right, who's on the 3? Who's on the 5? Who's training? Blah, blah, blah. So I take him down to the rail always. When you go to the track, we go outside. So it's easier for him to see the horses coming by. So we didn't get to go to the Meadowlands this time, but in August, when I go home in August, we will go to the Hambletonian together for, a record 35th time.
You been to any of these tracks that he's talking about, Braylon, when you were in New York?
Only tracks
In
I've ever
Jersey?
been to are here in the state of Michigan. I've been to Hazel Park when I was younger. I went to Northville Downs when I was younger. And I think that's it. Those are the only 2 that I've been to in my life. I wish I would have been a part of that, but when I was in Jersey, it was all about either football or partying.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to visit the
My
tracks.
buddy's down in Atlantic City. I wish I could have got down to AC this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been. I mean, this weather outside right now, it's not for me. The only way I could survive in this weather is by a pool or by the ocean.
You know, this weather, by the way, this is decades since we've seen this.
Really?
Here's the deal.
Derek Everett, did he hook you up?
4 straight days of over 95 degrees. First of all, it's never happened in June. So that's one. 4 straight days of over 95 degrees was in 2002. So
Okay.
22 years ago, 5 straight days of over 95, which we are flirting with.
Wow.
Hasn't happened since 1944. 5 straight days
World War
over
II.
95.
Wow.
My stepfather, CP, wasn't even born then.
No.
That says a lot.
How about that? Speaking of stepfather and fathers and all that kind of stuff, this is, even though this is Tuesday, this is essentially our Monday. How was Father's Day, guys?
You know what? It was amazing for me. Got a chance to go to Kensington Park. My sister, shout out to Jay. Jay did a heck of a job. Jay set it up where she invited my dad. She invited, obviously, her father, obviously, my girlfriend's father, her husband, Cam, his parents.
Cam was here last week.
100%. Shout out to Cam, man. Happy Father's Day again. And it was just fun. You know, we haven't had a lot of younger kids running around these parties or these events in a very long time. But my cousin's daughter was there. Rain was there. My cousin's sister's daughter was there. My cousin, his sons were there. So it was the first time in a very long time that we've seen kids that are 2, 3, 4, 5 hanging out, playing, and running up and down and chasing these kids all day. But I got to see my father, I got to see my grandfather, and I got to see my father, and we took a picture, and I'll show it to you, but it was a lot of fun, man. It was a special memory, probably the most special Father's Day I think that I've been a part of very long time.
That's awesome.
Man, it was great.
It was a great time for me. I go home to see Sammy Maz. Father's Day is great at my sister Jen's house, and Jersey Mike. The guy is like a master chef. He's not like a master chef. He is a master chef. We had about 65 people over on Sunday. And the food was amazing. People were great. Such a great time. At the end of this whole thing, I needed a vacation just watching my sister and brother-in-law prepare for this party. And they do it all the time. They are the hosts with the most. But I got to hang out with Sammy Maz. And Pete will throw a picture up there in a few minutes there, a couple seconds. But it was great to see Dad and Mom and my sisters. It's so special to get home, man. But I'll tell you, this weather, you could have it.
Yeah.
You could have it. It was perfection over the weekend. It was like 70 degrees during the whole weekend when I was in New Jersey. How was it here?
Over the weekend, it was fine. It was really nice over the weekend. I think, Monday was the first day of really the 95 plus heat. And it's going to last through Sunday. I mean, we won't have another day in the 80s until next Monday.
My pool will heat up at least.
Absolutely.
Yep, my non-heated pool will finally heat up.
Absolutely.
I was in it last night, cleaned it up a little bit. Those fish flies are killing me, man.
I know. The fish
I got
flies
fish
are
fly
terrible.
carcasses everywhere. There's Sammy Maz.
Oh, my God. God, he
Look
looks
at him.
great.
Still going.
He looks better than me.
He does look better than you.
He does. It's not saying much.
Oh, my goodness. That is fantastic.
Isn't that
You guys
great?
look like brothers.
He's a good man, my dad.
That's awesome.
Good man.
All right.
The best.
Guys, we'll get into it. The NBA Finals is now over. The Celtics knock out the Mavs in Game 5. Really a bloodbath. This game was never even close. 106-88 was the final. The Celtics win an NBA record 18th World Championship now. That breaks the tie with the Lakers. Both the Lakers and the Celtics had been tied with 17 championships, and Boston wins number 18. Guys, they were 16-3 in this playoff run. They won 80 games this year. It was one of the most dominant runs that you can remember in championship history. Both of these guys, and I say both of these guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, both under the age of 27 years old, I think they are. Neither of them are 28, but I think they're both under 27 years
100%.
old.
I think Jaylen Brown's older by a year.
Absolutely. And these guys have been around for a while. They break through. And one of the things, but maybe before we go to how long can this last, it's, how good can this team be? How good do you consider this run? Because I look at the Eastern Conference, and I do want to give them credit. Yeah. I think they are a well-built team. And anytime we see teams win championships and not really individual players, they don't have that. I don't think they have that one go-to superstar like the Jokic, like a LeBron, like a Durant, like like a Luka.
Yeah.
Now, Tatum and Brown together are great. What would they be if they didn't have each other? I don't know. But they do have each other. They have one of the most well-constructed teams in the NBA, obviously, from 1 to 15. But this run didn't feel like the Celtics are as good as that record indicates. And I just don't know how they got it done like this. 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1.
Yeah.
I mean, was this team that good?
Or was the East that bad?
Thank you.
I think what we have to stop doing is trying to compare each situation to the past. I think when you start to look at the domination of what they dominated this year, and they had a tremendous run. It's one of the all-time playoff runs in NBA Finals history and the NBA playoff history. But we don't have to necessarily try to compare it to a LeBron and the Miami Heat, or Golden State, or insert Lakers and Kobe here. I think for what it was, it is one of the all-time runs against the opponents that they went against. But at the same time, it's not necessarily comparable to one of those runs. We have to leave it be as its own thing, and as its own thing, they beat the teams that they went against. Whether you want to say the Knicks were injured, whether you want to say the Pacers weren't ready, and you can look at the coach, who we know here well, didn't necessarily do the best job. They did what they were supposed to do in 2024 to get the championship and get it done, and they did. You could talk about Dallas, and Dallas didn't have enough stars, and Dallas wasn't ready, and Luka didn't necessarily set the tone. The Celtics did what the Celtics were supposed to do. I think it's separate. I don't think this is going to be one of the teams you look back and say, oh, this team could have beat this team, or this team could have beat that team. But in terms of all-time run, it definitely was that. But their sustainability, 6 champions, 6 years in a row, all different. So I think you're going to see more of that. The NBA is kind of set up for there to be a new champion every year. But this team has the best chance of any of the teams in the last 6 years to win again, and maybe 3 out of 5. They got 12 guys that are coming back. They're returning everybody on this team. You look at Drew Holiday, he's under he's under contract. You look at Porzingis, he's under contract. Derek White, he's under contract. You look at Jaylen Brown, under contract. Jason Tatum, about to get paid. So you look at it that way, I think they have enough sustainability to be here for a couple more years and maybe win, 1 or 2 more times out of 4 years. But it's tough now in the NBA to go on these dynasties. So I think they will win another one. But I don't think dynasty is what I'm thinking about anymore in the NBA. It's tough.
Hey, 18 championships now for them. But here's the but. Only 2 since 1986. So the old Celtics, the historic Celtics, just passed the Lakers in most championships because the Lakers have been more relevant than them since 86. So 18 to 17 right now on the ticker. So 2 championships since 1986. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: I picked the Celtics from day one. I did switch towards the end because I said maybe the Mavericks are coming in hot. Once they got blown out in Game 1,
you knew it was
that really
over.
was the series. But the Celtics were the best team for the last bunch of years. They got beat by a Miami Heat team last year, a red-hot Heat team that played well over their heads. Joe Mazzulla, great coach.
Youngest coach ever.
Youngest coach. We've been saying it since Bill Russell in '69. The youngest coach. Mazzulla stayed there till like 4 a.m, walking around with his wife. I saw some of the video on Twitter. He's just pointing to different spots at the new Boston Garden. I really like this guy.
I do too.
And they try to bait him into like the black-white thing, and he just turns it into, hey, we're all Christians. Are they Christian men? Blah, blah, blah. I just
see his T-shirt yesterday after the game.
I didn't see it.
It was something about God.
Oh yeah.
Something about God.
The Jaylen Brown MVP.
Well deserved.
This is the first time in NBA history, and I saw this stat. I don't have it for you, but I remember it. It's the first time that a player, and we'll say it's Jason Tatum, that led his team in every category, scoring, rebounds, assists, but did not win the MVP.
Wow.
How about that? It goes to Jaylen Brown. He had about 3 votes out of, I think there's 10 guys that vote. He got beat 7-3 at the MVP.
Statistics are one thing. I do think my eyes supported this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jaylen and Jason. It is
Right.
so hard to say.
Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum stuffs the stat sheet. Jaylen Brown makes the moments. Even, and I go back to that game, I think it was against Indiana, where Jason Tatum scored a bunch of points in overtime.
Right.
But it was
Jaylen Brown
that
that sent it to overtime.
made the shot to get there. And I just think, and we compare, that's what we do. I think Brown is always big in the tough moments. And to me, he was the clear MVP.
Clear
MVP. Clear to me.
We've been talking about this for a long time
Yes.
in terms of Jason Tatum, in terms of is he the guy? Is he the
he's
superstar?
not very well liked for some
Is he
reason.
the I don't think it's that he's not very well liked. I just think that there's enough of these moments now. Even though they're young players, they're very experienced players. Jaylen Brown's been to 5 conference finals. 6 conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum's been to 5 conference finals. They've both been to 2 finals. They've been at this. They're very experienced. You haven't seen enough moments out of Jason Tatum in the moment, and I think that's what people pull on. When I look at Jaylen Brown winning MVP over Jason Tatum, it's the moments, it's the plays. Look at Game 3. It's the Jaylen Brown dunk to seal the game. When you think of the Indiana Pacers game, Jaylen Brown hits the shot in the corner. Jason Tatum has stats, but he has stats a lot of times in the blowout. Like if you got 31 and you beat a team by 22, what's really going on? And I tell you, Jaylen Brown, both ends of the court. He locked up Luka Doncic for the most part of these finals. He made points when the points matter. He made the big play when the big play matters. And he has more of those moments that you think about. They're a different style of players and different style of champions. They both are superstar. Well, they're both superstar status, and they both play well. Sometimes it's Jason Tatum, sometimes it's Jaylen Brown. But when the chips are down and when it seems like the Celtics need it the most, it seems to be Jaylen Brown that comes up more often than not. No knock against Jason Tatum. I think he had a tremendous playoffs. I think he does it on both ends of the court. I think he also, you look at his assists, he does what he needs to do. When he can't shoot, he's rebounding. He's assisting. He's getting other guys involved. He's not making it about himself. So he had a really good playoffs. But Jaylen Brown has the moments. When you think about this match, because I know you're a big guy that DVRs things and watches them back from time to time. When you go back and watch these playoffs or when you watch these finals, Jaylen Brown is going to have more of the moments that you think about. And I think that's why he won. It's nothing against Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown came to play.
It's just the way they interview Tatum. It's the way he acts on the court. So after they won, they go to him. He's crying on the bench. And then he's crying. Lisa Salter's interviewing him. And then he's like, "Yeah, we did it," And I don't know. He just doesn't seem like a real dude to me.
You're chasing him. He's
like a Scotty Scheffler to
meanwhile,
me. He's like a real boring guy.
Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown is the humblest guy. Listen to him after he won the MVP.
What does holding this trophy mean to you?
It was a full team effort, and I share this with my brothers and my partner in crime, Jason Tatum. He was with me the whole way, so we shared it together.
You said that what's been...
I mean, he gives it back to his team. He talked about his partner, his brother, Jason Tatum. He's just he's a good dude. And I think that's why he won the MVP, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, anytime you compare two people, when you try to prop somebody up, you can't help but inherently knock the other person down. And I almost feel like I'm doing that by not, trying to prop up Brown instead of Tatum. But they're both great players, and I love how they hugged each other last night. I loved how Jaylen Brown, one of the first people he recognized was Jason Tatum last night. And they're going to be good for a long time. Look, in 89 and 90, Joe Dumars won the MVP. Yep. And then Isaiah Thomas won it the following year. Yeah. So that's what happens when you have a team. That's what happens when you have two superstars on a team. And there doesn't have to be this divide between them. It can just be, this is their team. It's not my team. It's not your team. It's our team.
Yeah, true. And I think going back, you've seen in the last 20 years or so, you've seen a couple instances where maybe the best player didn't win MVP. I mean,
Steph Curry.
100%. Look at Andre Iguodala, and he gets that credit. Why? Because he went from coming off the bench to starting. He went to playing defense on LeBron. He scored points when it mattered. You remember in that series. You look at Tony Parker when he won over Tim Duncan. We clearly know who the best player on that team is. We clearly know who actually had better stats. But Tony Parker, when you remember, he took over that series, and he was a catalyst for the sweep. I don't think it's a bad thing at all, and I don't think people should make more than what it is. I think Jason Tatum will get his time, and his time will come again. This team, like we said, they're loaded on both sides of the floor. They play defense, they play offense. They got about 6 to 7, maybe even 8 guys that can do all, handle the ball, shoot, and play defense. So Jason Tatum will get his time, but right now, in the moment, it's Jaylen Brown. When you think back on his playoffs, and I keep harping on that, you're going to remember the plays that number 7 had for the Boston Celtics, more so than you're going to remember what Jason Tatum did. It seemed like Jaylen Brown got the plays that mattered in those tough moments.
Just remember last year we were all saying, oh, Nuggets, they're coming right back. Nuggets are coming right back. They're going to win it back-to-back. And like Braylon said earlier, NBA is almost rigged. Yeah. It's going to be a new champion every year. So whoever the story is next year, that's who's going to be playing in the finals next year. I don't think it'll be the Celtics repeating. I think obviously they're going to probably repeat as Atlantic Division champions because the division really is up in flux. Maybe the Knicks come back. If the Knicks get a couple players in free agency, who knows? I think maybe it might be the Knicks' turn to maybe get a player or two and go over the top. It's time, man.
Boston, Denver, Golden State, Milwaukee, the Lakers, Toronto, and Golden State. Golden State in 2016, 2017, then they won it again in 2017, 2018. We have had 6 straight years of a new champion in the NBA, Braylon, as you mentioned. Yeah. And the way the NBA is set up, it does allow teams to pay players a lot of money, and it allows teams, if you can make the right moves to get good quickly. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at the Orlando Magic. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Even though Atlanta missed it, Atlanta had a lot of injuries this year with Trae Young, and he was. Look at the New Orleans Pelicans. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, there's a lot of teams that were really bad for a long time that got good quickly.
I think all those incidents and all those situations, and this is the one reason why I say Celtics probably have a little bit more sustainability, Ryan Ermanni, than those last 5, is because this isn't something new to the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics didn't just get here this year. They didn't just get here the year before. They've been at this now, Ryan, 6 years. 6 years they've been knocking at the door, getting to the finals and getting ousted, getting beat by a Miami team that a lot of people think got hot at the right time and shouldn't necessarily have been there. But they're sustained by the guys they have on their rosters. You got to pay to win. Jalen's over 300. Jason's about to be over 300. Derek White is eligible for about 130. Drew Holiday is paid 130. Kristaps is under contract. They got their guys under contract, which I think is a smart thing. You look at when the Raptors won it, it was a one-off. Kawhi, he left the next year. Yeah. The Golden State Warriors, when they win it without KD, they had no business being there, let alone beating that Celtics team that year. You look at Milwaukee, Phoenix Suns fell apart. Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns, they did exactly what they do. They fall apart. And then last year, Denver got rid of a lot of their core pieces out of that championship. Jeff Green and Bruce Brown, they were glue pieces for that for that Denver team last year. Bruce Brown, no more. Jeff Green, no more. And you saw that because Denver had nobody to pull on in that second rotation when they were going against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Boston's a little bit different. They got everything they need. They play both sides of the court. And it's unselfish basketball. Got to give Brad Stevens a lot of credit moving from the head coach spot to the front office. He's locked and loaded with this Boston Celtics team. I think they're a little different than the other 5.
He made some great deals, man.
Yeah, he did.
So that brings us to the Pistons. Speaking of deals. Saw this tweet today. Do you have that tweet, James? Bruce Tenham. Now, I don't know who Bruce Tenham is, but this showed up on my feed today, and it's a great tweet. The Celtics won more games in the playoffs than the Pistons won all season long. The Celtics won 16 games to win the NBA championship, and the Pistons won 14 games. That's a great tweet by that guy. There, Bruce. Way to go, Bruce.
Bruce did a great job on that.
And Detroit then, always catching straight.
I look at the free agency list this year. There's not a lot of help out there. I mean, I just highlighted a couple of guys.
There's a lot of help, but it's not going to get them.
Well, I mean, okay, so LeBron James is out there.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. James Harden's out there.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get those guys.
Not going to get those guys. I mean, who can you get? Are you going to go back to the well on Tobias Harris?
Please don't.
Absolutely not.
OG Anunoby, I like him. I assume he's going back to the Knicks.
Yeah, he's not liking their deal right now.
He does not like their deal. He will like their deal, but he's a really good player. He's 26 years old, but he ain't coming here. Kyle Anderson, 30 years old. Lonzo Ball, is he ever going to play again?
He ain't playing 4 seasons.
Right.
Yeah. I know. I forgot he was in the league.
You know who's out there? I think, isn't Andre Drummond out there as well? Please, come on, man.
Maker.
I don't want reunited
Real
here. I don't want
difference
Peaches
maker.
and Herb. Please.
Nick Batum, 35 years. I'm looking for veterans here. Malik Beasley, 27 years old. He can play a little bit.
Bruce Brown.
Sadiq Bey is out there, 25
Never
years
should have
old.
traded
We know him already.
And
Yeah.
Miles Bridges, he's the guy that I think linked to the Pistons, perhaps.
He's
Miles
also linked to some
Bridges.
other stuff too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but the guy could play. Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Oh,
He's unhappy in Denver.
No reunited.
Well, I mean, Alec Burks.
How many
No.
other former Pistons players?
Right. I mean, I'm just looking at guys. There's not a lot of players out there. Spencer Dinwiddie,
God.
for anybody
Another
31
Pistons
years
player.
old.
been down that
Second
road.
round
Right.
draft pick, and he played well after
So
we
you
got
know
rid
what,
of him.
Brian? All the players that you just named, obviously with the exception of LeBron James, as Maz always likes to say, they're all fourth, fifth, third day role players.
Right.
And James Harden, who you also named, he's the third player now. He's the third best player on his current team, the Clippers. You got to have 2 stars for any of those players to matter, and
So-
you don't have that yet.
So that brings me to this list.
Yeah.
Guys who are up on the trading block, potentially. Do you think you can swing one of these guys? Trae Young.
Maybe.
Do you want him?
I don't. Yeah.
He's a star.
Eh.
I don't.
I
know
think
if
he's a star.
I don't know if he's a good fit with Cade though.
Alex Caruso.
Oh,
I like Alex.
I mean, he's not a star, but he's a guy that can help you.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know?
Here's something you just said. You brought up a name. You brought up Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
In my estimation, everybody on the Detroit Pistons has to be up for sale if you're really
Everybody.
trying to win this.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Everybody.
Listen, I
Absolutely.
understand Cade Cunningham. I met him. He's a nice individual. I think at times he's flashed some all-star caliber skill. He's also last year, everybody talked about him in Team USA and how he played in Vegas. The stars talked about him. KD has given him a lot of credit. It's a player that KD likes. But with that said, he's done nothing for me to say we have to have Cade and match people here around Cade. If you're truly serious about the Detroit Pistons ever coming back as a franchise, ever taking a step towards being able to compete again, everybody on this team is up for sale. And I love Cade, and I appreciate the people that defend Cade.
Even if you pay him.
Cade is up for sale as well.
100%.
Cade's not showing me anything that I'm like, okay, he's the guy that we got to add some talent around to build this team. If you're serious, everybody's for sale. I think you throw Cade out there, I think a lot of teams will nibble at that bit, and maybe you can add some pieces to get yourself a real superstar that now you can build around a couple more players. Everybody has to be for sale.
What about Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors? Good player?
He okay.
Okay.
He's okay.
He's a good player who plays with Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying?
Brandon Ingram. He's a guy that's linked here because of Trajan Langdon and his ties to New Orleans.
Would love it, but I don't know what that kind of deal would intake. I don't know what they would have to give up. So you don't.
Also, too, I like Brandon Ingram, but Brandon Ingram plays for a team now where he has a lot of pieces around him. When Zion's healthy, Zion's one of the best players in the league. Say what you want to about him.
Yeah.
Zion's playing.
I
Other
would
pieces
take him.
around. Brandon Ingram by himself.
I'll take Zion.
I mean,
What does Brandon Ingram by himself come over here to the Pistons and do? He's a very inconsistent player. Like, so if you're not pairing him up with another 2 superstars, he's an inconsistent player now. What is he going to be if you're putting all the franchise on his back?
Okay, here's a name for you that is intriguing to me.
Okay.
Plays for the Brooklyn Nets. He's a younger player, but he's got experience in this league.
Bridges.
Mikal Bridges.
That would be a good move.
I like
As a trade candidate.
I like Mikal Bridges. We bring him here. We pair him with Jaden Ivey and Duran and Cade. What will we give up for? I like Mikal Bridges. I do.
I like him a lot. And then this guy's not coming here, but it's a guy. It's Donovan Mitchell. You know, you just it just proves. Look how good Cleveland got when they acquired that guy.
Darius Garland, Donovan
You know what I
Mitchell,
mean?
Derek
You know,
Collins.
When you and I don't know how good Darius Garland is, but I'll
He's
tell
good.
you,
Garrett Allen's
he's a lot better with Donovan Mitchell on the floor. And that's my point. You need one of these guys to make everybody else around you better.
You know what sucks? KG, jump in here, man. Is you gotta have 2 pieces that you drafted.
Yeah.
You gotta have, and that's what we get back to. Whenever you talk Detroit Pistons, it always comes back to what? The draft and how we haven't been able to nail those 2 superstars. You look at Boston. Now they got super lucky, but they have Jalen and Jason. You can build around that. You look at the Warriors back in the day. They stuck with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Now you can build around that. You look at Philly. Philly got Joel Embiid, one of the best players in the NBA. You can build around Joel Embiid. Any team that's going to the playoffs, you look at Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix had Devin Booker. Devin Booker scored 70 at 21 years old. You can build around Devin Booker. We just don't have anybody to build around. So players on the list to trade, we don't have those two guys or that guy where you're like, all right, Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
And although they had a couple players, but you can build around Ant-Man. It's just tough, I think, with Detroit. We can't win in the draft to save our lives.
Yeah.
So now we're having these conversations every June.
And that's what it goes back to. Just bad drafts, drafting players that, yes, have talent, but they don't necessarily fit together. But you are right. You need those two stars in order to even be in the conversation. They tried to supplement the team with vets. That didn't work. You had a Monty Morris that didn't play. You had Bogey. That wasn't a good move. Alec Burks wasn't a good move. So yeah, man, it's a really tough situation when you don't have that homegrown talent, when you can't build from within. We think we have something in Cade, but like you said, I do understand people that think Cade isn't necessarily the guy. I think so, but we just haven't seen enough of it, and we also don't know what fits with Cade. So yeah, man, it's a tough spot for the Pistons, man. Trajan got his work cut out.
Hey, Ryan, we're not spending a lot of money on our salary cap. When you look at the players that we're paying for the Detroit Pistons, not spending a lot of money. Now, that helps us. That bodes in our favor. Is it worth it for Trajan Langdon if he ever decides to come to Detroit so he can be introduced?
When's the press conference, by the way?
Beats the heck out of me. But is it worth it for Trajan Langdon and Tom Gores to just start going on a campaign tour where they're just talking to the elite of the elite? Look, we got money, we'll pay you. Like, it may just be worth it where you got to, you just have to, you might have to.
Tom Gores away from everybody. You don't want.
He's the one with the money, so maybe maybe we can have power of attorney.
Just take Trajan Langdon.
Okay, Trajan Langdon and his team have power of attorney, and now you just walk around here. Look, we got about $500 million that we're willing to spend to get 2-3 players. That's the way I think you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to go poach some players. Mm-hmm. You may have to cheat. Hey, it is what it is. You ain't cheating. You ain't trying if you ain't cheating. You're going to have to post some players and throw some real money out there. Because other than that, it just seems like a never-ending saga.
Last week I read, I wasn't here, you guys probably talked about it, that George David's coming back. So is Arn Tellum's son. He is coming back. And then they went out and got New Orleans an assistant to put on Monty's bench. So then I wrote, I guess Monty's coming back. Yep. Is that the deal? I guess he is now staying. Like we said, there's been no press conferences. There's been nothing. It's either they're planning something really big or
no.
I don't know. What are they waiting for? The draft? The draft's coming. Is that when they're going to have all one big party?
They're just completely unorganized. It feels like the Los Angeles Lakers are the only other franchise that is in as much disarray as the Pistons feel like they're in.
And it's crazy because
isn't that something? LeBron James. Nobody wants to coach this guy.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No.
There is one team in professional sports that does not have a coach right now, and it is the Los Angeles Lakers. Can you even believe that? The one team that has LeBron James on it is the only team in American sports, the NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball, that does not have a head coach / manager. It is that's a mind-blowing fact.
Good call.
It's true. I think,
and he is a free agent.
Coaches took the chance.
Quote, unquote.
In the past, coaches took chances. They said they know what LeBron has been since he was in Cleveland. Yeah, he got Mike Brown removed. He got Blatt. Got him removed.
Frank Vogel won a championship.
Frank Vogel
See ya.
Got removed. Tried the same thing in Miami.
Yep.
Pat Riley said, not so fast, my friend. Like, he's done this everywhere he's been, but he was in his prime. He was younger. He had other guys around him. Coaches took a chance to say, you know what? It's worth the chance to coach LeBron and maybe win a championship. Now, LeBron's my age almost. LeBron will be 40 years old this year. It's the end of the road, the end of the road. You don't need to take that chance necessarily as a coach trying to get a job, because you're like, he may not be here. Why even take that chance? And then they blame me and he's out and I'm out as well. So other than J.J. Redick, nobody wants to take that chance with
Tyronn Lue in L.A., the Clippers, they're going to get a new barn. He brought Jeff Van Gundy on.
I saw that today.
I think it's a phenomenal move.
I was, I'm a broadcast guy, okay? Yeah. Like, I love the broadcast. I thought J.J. Redick and Doris Burke were
underwhelming.
Completely horrible.
Poor Mike Breen.
I have no idea why you would have why you would replace Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy for J.J. Redick and Doris Burke.
It's mind-boggling.
That crew was every bit as good, I think, calling a basketball game as the NBA inside the NBA team on TNT.
Agreed.
You know, that was a studio
Correct.
host versus play-by-play, but Breen, Jackson, and Van Gundy were as good as anybody.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I think it's a time and a place. I think, you look at the you look at the NFL, and we've talked about this, kind of how Tony Romo came. He was a new thing. So the NFL started to go the wave of the newer announcers. You mix some of these younger announcers with some of the older announcers. And I think in the NBA, they were just tired. They said, oh, you know what? It's a new day. It's a new NBA. Let's go younger. Let's go different. Let's go Doris. Let's go JJ. And sometimes nostalgia works. Sometimes nostalgia is just what it is in nostalgia, but they're still very skilled. Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy have a tremendous chemistry between each other, and they're very nostalgic to the game. You think of Jeff Van Gundy, you think of the NBA. You think of Mark Jackson, you think of him helping to create the Splash Brothers and Klay Thompson and stuff. So sometimes newer isn't better, and I think this is a case where it failed.
UB Brown at 90 years old is still calling games.
Yeah.
For ESPN
He's
radio.
tremendous.
And I could listen to him just talk basketball all freaking day long. And they have to be the first. Let's be the first woman to call a basketball game. Let's pull a player out of nowhere, a guy that's on that has TikToks and Twitter and Facebook. JJ Redick.
You're right about that.
Let's put them on.
You talk about Redick's appeal to
That's
the
all it
younger
is.
audience with a lot of that social media stuff.
That's what it is.
But what you see is a lot of that social media stuff does not transfer to the actual broadcast
Because they're not watching.
JJ, exactly. They'll see the clips.
Right.
They'll watch the clips on social media, but it doesn't involve the broadcaster.
They're not watching a 3-hour show.
No.
They're not. They're watching a 30-second clip.
Right.
Because that's all they can keep their attention.
It's the same as anything on social media. And one of the biggest proponents of that is comedy. You look at these social media comedians. When you watch guys or women or whatever they want to be called, when they're doing a 30-second skit
That's
or a
the
minute
best.
skit
Real
or
funny.
a minute 15,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. I went and saw a friend of mine. Won't put his name out there because I won't put his name out there.
It's funny.
100%. You watch him on Instagram and it's funny. It's bam, bam, in your face. It's over with. It's the next skit. I watched him do a 45-minute set.
Boring.
It was boring as hell. And I
Boring.
think that's the same. When you do a bam, 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 it's easy to work certain individuals. But when you put them in a space where we need 45 minutes to stand up from you, or we need 2.5 hours of a game from you, it's not quite the same. And I think that's what they saw in the finals. I think that's what you see in comedy as well. Everybody's not Dave Chappelle.
No.
Everybody is not Bill Burr.
Yep.
Let's put 6 people on a desk, too. You think I
Right.
want to see
Amazon
6 people
Prime.
on a freaking desk?
Man's still pissed
Right.
about that.
Did you see ESPN's hockey desk? They bought it from like
was
Bob's
card-
Furniture.
It was like a card
You see
table.
this desk?
It was a card
Do you
table.
see this desk I'm sitting
Yeah.
with? They had 4
I mean,
people sitting around this.
It was a card table.
It's unbelievable. ESPN, what happened to you?
And then let me say, what are the look? This guy is a genius. Okay, this guy's a genius. But if I see one more shot, and thankfully we won't have to do it till next year. One more
SAS.
shot of Stephen A. Smith
Oh, God.
walking
I
into
knew
the
it.
building as
Oh.
a player.
Right.
It is enough. Enough. God bless Stephen A. Smith. He is the highest paid employee at ESPN, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
He is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
He has taken a product himself and turned it into the biggest sports marketer of all time. However,
Yeah.
please, ESPN, nobody cares how he walks into the building. It is such a disservice to the players that are actually playing the game. And I think a little bit of a disservice to the viewer that you are, showing this guy in a light that doesn't come from like a position of authority in terms of analysis. It becomes a joke at that point. Like, to me.
Nobody in media, and this is no disrespect, this is just the truth. Nobody in media is more important than the players. Nobody in media, I don't care who you're talking about. In NFL,
Facts.
Chris Berman is probably the best to ever do it. Chris Berman knew he wasn't better than the NFL players. He knew he wasn't better than the players of the MLB. People know that. But it seems somehow along the way, Stephen A. Smith wanted to be more than the players. ESPN has allowed him to be
Bray.
more
That's
than the
really
player.
nice. He wants to come off the bench.
How many times? Exactly.
He
And
wants
shoot
to be
that-
announced.
And shoot that crooked ass jump
No,
shot.
he
How
wants to
many
be
times?
announced.
0.5 points.
Man, lies. How many times have you seen Stephen A. Smith talk about, I put in the call to the league because I didn't like what was going on with Lucas, so I made it a point to call Adam Silver. Why the hell are you calling Adam Silver? Why the hell are you
Mark
calling?
Cuban should do that.
Why are you calling any owner? Why are you calling any commissioner? Your job is to report sports, not to go to the owners, not to go to the commissioners. So I think ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, love him to death. I told you I went up there to Michigan when they had the broadcasters camp. Great guy. They're a little out of pocket for their portrayal of what he is to NBA. He's just an analyst, much like you and I, just much higher up.
And I agree with you, Bray. There can't be a network should not give the image that a broadcaster is more important than the players. And you think of some of the great broadcasters of all time. I mean, think of John Madden. Can you imagine John Madden walking in? Just look at the guy we're going to talk about next, Charles Barkley.
Yep.
You think Charles Barkley ever walked in like that? Charles Barkley, I think.
The most unassuming guy.
I said that, because he says he's going to retire. He says he's going to retire. Do you want to hear that? Do you have that? Do you have that clip? This is what Charles Barkley had to say on NBA TV after Game 4. Here's what.
I want to say this because you guys are my family. I really love TNT, all the people who work here, NBA television. You guys been great to me for 24 years, and I just want to say thank you to my entire NBA family. I love you guys. There's been a lot of noise around our network the last few months. And I just want to say, I've talked to all the other networks, but I ain't going nowhere other than TNT. But I have made the decision myself, no matter what happens, next year is going to be my last year on television. And I just want to say thank you to my NBA family. You guys been great to me. My heart is full with joy and gratitude. But I'm going to pass the baton at the end of next year. I hope the NBA stays with TNT. But for me personally, I wanted you guys to hear from me because I'm not doing any more interviews. Don't y'all be calling me. Nobody calling me. I'm not talking about this again, but I want to tell my NBA and NBA TV and TNT family that I'm not going to another network, but I'm going to pass the baton to either Jamal Crawford or Vince Carter or you, Steve. But next year, I'm going to just retire after 25 years, and I just want to say thank you, and I wanted y'all to hear from me first.
That was good, Chuck. Wow. We got a whole year to celebrate you.
Oh, I can't wait. Next year's going to be the best year ever on TNT.
So that was Charles Barkley. And then here's Michael McCarthy on X. Charles Barkley is a master at negotiating through the media. Sir Charles could be pulling the power play of all time, trying to keep his colleagues at TNT in the NBA business. As Danielle said in training day, this is chess, not checkers. So we'll see what he's doing. I wanted to raise Charles Barkley because here's a guy that did play the game. No, he didn't win a championship, but he's a Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats in the game. I think he is the most influential sports broadcaster today and has been for the last several decades. If he's not one, he is definitely top 3.
He's got guts.
He's one of the guys that says what he says, and he doesn't care. He's not worried about getting fired. He doesn't care what his bosses think. He's unapologetically authentic, and I think that's why people love him. And he's not treated like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, like, how TNT does not treat, Charles Barkley the way ESPN treats Stephen A. Smith, and rightfully so, by the way. Yeah. Because no network should treat a
They're
broadcaster
professional.
like
That's why.
Quick thought on it too, and this is more on the funnier side of things. And then whatever, I'll be done talking about it. Even when you watch that, Ryan and Maz, when you watch Stephen A. Smith, you watch when ESPN shows him coming through the tunnel. Tell me, KGU as well. Tell me it doesn't look cringeworthy.
It does.
When you watch him looking for the security guards, or looking for the people in the back, the trainers, or looking for other people, looking for someone to not only recognize him but say hey and dap him up, much like the players when you see a Luka walk through or when you see a Jason Tatum walk through. It looks like it's supposed to be there. When Stephen A. Smith, he's waiting for that handshake. It is cringeworthy to watch. Just watch it, ESPN. It'll let you know this isn't what we should be doing.
Also, I do think that Charles Barkley is done.
Yeah.
I don't think he says that. And I know this is chess, not checkers, and it's great negotiating. And there's going to be a network out there that throws so much money at him that he's not even going to be able to see straight. But the last time that happened to a guy, the name was Monty Williams. No, but I do think once you make your mind up, once you make a decision and start to only do things for money, I think that's when you lose your grip on your excellence. I think that. And Charles Barkley is at the top of his game now. He convinced me that he's done after this. He's done after 24-25 season.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. Now, will he? I don't know if he will, but I'll tell you, I don't think he'll be as great if he does because he'd just be doing it for a paycheck, I think, after hearing that.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Because TNT, the rumor is still out there that they could maybe break a fourth piece off in that NBA deal, that $7 billion deal, whatever the hell it was. I forgot how much money it was.
Too much to count.
That TNT can get some regular season games and playoffs. Now, if Charles stays with them, and I think he wouldn't have to work as much as he does now. But he could stay with his guys. I don't think he's considered a liar then. I don't.
Yeah, no, I do that. But you know what reduced games means? Reduced pay.
He don't care.
At this point, he's not really necessarily looking for that contract. So I think if they did do something on TNT, that wouldn't be bad.
Not so much for Charles, but an entire production crew. You know, the guy that makes $150,000 a year now, $200,000 is now making $80,000. He's going to another network. He ain't staying at TNT.
Right.
So
he's just not that type of guy to tell you something like that and then not stand on it.
That's what I think too.
We saw what he did with NBA 2K. He hasn't been in the NBA 2K game since the existence. Why? Yeah. Because he is dead set on if you're not playing the players, paying the players a certain amount, then I'm not doing it. I'm not for it, man. So for him to come out and say that, I think he's standing on all 10. I definitely think he's retiring after this year.
And to piggyback both of you guys, Charles has put himself in a situation he doesn't ever have to backtrack anything he says.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever have to backtrack because people are going to want to work with him. And that's one of the reasons why people allow him to talk the way he talks, allow him to criticize the players the way he criticizes, allow him to get away with a lot of things that no one else in this industry can get away with it because he has not changed. But for the most part, he's always been fair. So you got to stand on what got you to this point. And Ryan and KG, you're right. That got him to this point.
Can we do a quick NBA 2024-2025 true or false question game?
I would love it.
Quick. Can we do that? You give me a little beat, Kenny?
I got you.
Nice job, right?
All right, you ready for this?
What other show on network can you just roll through an hour with no commercials?
Well, that's what we're doing now.
I'm just saying.
We're going to take one
Commercial
pretty soon.
free.
We still do have to pay bills.
We're going to take one pretty soon because we do have some bills to pay. Okay, I'm going to give you a statement. You tell me true or false and explain your reasoning.
Okay.
Next season, LeBron James will wear a Lakers jersey.
True. I think that the Lakers are the only team that want to deal with LeBron James right now. Genie Bus, I think also is a chance that they will get Bronny James. I think they're the only team that wants to put in a bid to get Bronny James to play in the NBA as he's clearly not NBA ready. I think those two factors alone, and they still have AD. That's the only place for LeBron and Bronny.
That's a good take by Bray. Yeah. I'm going to say false. I'm going to stick with my first intuition. I'm going to say he's going back to Akron, Ohio to finish his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think they will draft Bronny James somewhere in the first round because that Cleveland team can compete right now. If you put him on that team, they could win that East next year. And I think that's the end of his career playing at home in Ohio.
That's interesting.
I say true because who wants to put up with 1 year of LeBron and then what do you get at the end? Bronny? Nobody wants to do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see. I don't know. I would say true just because I don't think you can live in Los Angeles and then go live in Akron, Ohio. Go live in Cleveland. I don't see it, but what do I know? All right, here you go. Question number 2.
Doesn't mean he can't go to
Right.
California anytime he wants.
Kevin Durant will play for the Phoenix Suns next year.
Maz, you go first.
True. Where's he going?
Yeah.
Where's he going? Where's the Slim Reaper going?
Hey.
Phoenix definitely fell on short terms this year. They got a lot of making up to do. And the man in charge, the owner, of course, and why do I always forget
Matt
his name?
Ishbia.
Matt Ishbia. Has got a lot of splaining to do. He says they're okay. A lot of people say they're a mess. I'm going to trust the guy to put this thing together and make Phoenix a player again in the NBA West. I believe he returns to the Suns.
Oh, man, you guys got me dealing in definites. I think he returns to the Suns. I'm going to say a strong thing, but there could be a chance. The only reason the chance is Matt Ishbia was not the owner when Kevin Durant got to the Phoenix Suns. And the way everything kind of happened last year, it was an ugly situation in Phoenix. You have a lot of people in the front office complaining as well, players. So only because of that, I say there's a small percentage, but I do think he comes back.
The Boston Celtics won the NBA championship this year. They will most likely be the favorites to certainly win the Eastern Conference next year. Their biggest competitor in the Eastern Conference next year will be the team they played against in the Eastern Conference Finals this year, the Indiana Pacers. KG, true or false?
I would say true because I like what they got in place. Rick Carlisle is the coach. You look at Tyrese Halliburton, he's really good, man. They got a good core of young players, man. I would say that they can repeat that type of success. They gave Boston probably their biggest challenge the whole series. So yeah. I would say yes. What do you guys say?
I'm so glad you went to KG first because I knew he wouldn't pick my New York Knicks.
No, of course not.
Okay, it's going to be the Knicks.
Not while Tom Thibodeau.
You could put it down right now in stone. It'll be the Knicks and Celtics for the East Finals next year, and the Knicks are going to beat them.
I got to agree with KG on this one. And I promise you it's not because he's black. The reason why I'm agreeing with KG is because I think Rick Carlisle is going to do a lot of soul searching after the way he coached in the playoffs this year. He did not bring his best, and this is one of the guys that we said is one of the best coaches in the last 25 years. So I think he does soul searching, and I think they add some pieces to help them out. They saw where they were. They saw how they were undermanned. I think they changed that in the offseason, and I think it is the Pacers and Halliburton. I think you got to lose at that point, Ryan, to become a better player. And I think Halliburton is on the verge of being one of those superstar type players. He lost. Failure breeds success, and I think that's why the Pacers and Rick Carlisle will be back.
You answer, right?
I think it's the Knicks.
Thank you.
I think the Knicks are coming. And if the Knicks were not hurt this year, I know injuries and health play a huge role in this, but if the Knicks had Julius Randle or Anunoby or who's the tallest?
Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah. They're going to add players,
if you're a healthy Knicks team, start with not adding a player, just getting your own players back healthy. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they give the Boston Celtics a run for their money. And you cannot be an NBA player, not watch the postseason, and say, I want to be a part of that.
Damn right.
So I'm saying it's the Knicks.
What if LeBron goes to your Cavs, man?
Cavs and Knicks.
Okay. So no Celtics then.
Nope.
I like it.
I really believe in the Knicks this year.
I believe.
I really believe.
I believe in Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day, I believe in Jalen Brunson. I believe in his leadership. He's been doing it since college.
You see how they played together, man?
Yeah.
Julius Randle got to go, though.
I can't.
It's not going to work with Julius Randle.
You know what Julius Randle is? He's just not a playoff player.
Exactly.
Julius Randle is a guy that can be an all-star caliber in the regular season.
How about trading him to the Pistons?
I take him here. Like we need a player of that
magnitude. How about
magnitude.
Cade for him?
I wouldn't do that. Cade for Julius Randle?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
2 more questions. You guys ready?
Let's go.
Yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks will be the favorites to come out of the Western Conference next year. True or false?
False. Minnesota Timberwolves.
I agree. I agree with you, dude.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota's a real deal.
I would have
him.
to second that. Plus Denver as well. They still on the come up as
well.
well.
I'm the third man on that.
Yeah.
T-Wolves with A-Rod. Let's go.
And Avon. Sorry. Thank you, John Sterling. Okay, guys. Last question. NBA trivia right now. The Detroit Pistons won 14 games this year.
Don't do this to me.
They will win 14 games next year.
Stop.
No, guys, here we go.
They better not.
The Detroit Pistons will win 30 games next year. True or false?
True.
False.
True.
False.
It has to happen.
False.
It has to. There's going to be some players they're going to add this year. I got to give Trajan Langdon an opportunity. Come on, man. 14 games.
Let me help you out.
Back-to-back years.
Maz, I will say this, and I stole this from Ryan Ermanni. This is something I stole from here. The Detroit Pistons lost more games this year than when they were trying to tank.
I know.
2 years ago for Victor Wembanyama.
I'm just trying to hope.
Ryan Ermanni gave me that stat.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, their best players were hurt all year long. They were trying to tank for the number 1 pick, and they won more games that year
17
than when everybody was healthy and they were trying to win games.
They're not going to win 30. Who am I kidding?
They're not going to win 20.
They might win 20.
They might win 20, but no more than 22.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Vegas puts them up
17 to 22.
Yeah.
I think that's their window.
Right.
17 to 22.
Oh, my
17
God.
22.
That would be a 3 year.
That sounds about right.
I don't think you could put 3 or 4 years together that bad.
The NBA usually takes over at that point.
Yeah.
The NBA usually
The Pistons are.
But here's the thing, though, Ryan.
Please give them the keys.
The
Tom.
Detroit Pistons are the only franchise that we know the NBA does not give a damn about.
Yep.
So they're not taking any keys. They're like, keep keeping on, Pistons.
Oh, my God.
On the 20-year anniversary of the going to work Pistons, we got to talk about if they're going to win 14 freaking games.
Unbelievable.
It's disgusting.
Guys, this was one of the most fun hours just sitting here talking to you.
It was just
It was
talk.
fun.
We've got a whole nother hour coming.
Nice job, fellas.
But we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little Lions. They've got a new kicker. They made a roster move today as well. Which
and I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I am surprised by it. We'll talk about it.
It makes sense.
But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, located in the great city of Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And again, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, where they have been for over 55 years. All 4 GM brands under one umbrella now. Chevy, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive.
Woof! All right, it's Premier Pet Supply time. That's right. It is family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery as well, and they've got nutritionists on call for any questions you have. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda, chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
It is time to get in shape. It's been time to get in shape, and the only place to do it is at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. $10 a month is all it takes to get in shape, so that's where you want to do it at. But also, squeaky clean gym, total fitness body workout, 30 minutes is all it takes to feel good, look great, and home of the judgment-free zone, so you get to do it at your own pace. Nobody's bothering you. Nobody's watching you, because you can watch yourself and have a good time doing it. Planet Fitness, remember, your fitness is essential.
Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed.
Yes,
Swiss
it is.
Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in extra fees. Make sure to call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698. That's right, 313-530-1698. SwissINS.com. Be sure to visit here today.
Nice job, James.
Good job, James.
All right.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. KG is with us. James is with us. Pete Spivak over here as well. Talking a little Lions football. They did make a roster move today, officially announcing the signing of Michigan Panthers kicker Jake Bates. I think everybody's excited about that. 2-year deal worth $1.98 million. It is $150,000 guaranteed up front. So good for Jake Bates. This guy took a UFL contract and made the best of it. So he is on his way here to Detroit, or staying here.
Probably doubled his salary in one bonus.
Probably
right there.
tripled
Probably
it. Quadrupled it.
Yeah.
But today the team announced
I don't like this.
that they have waived James Turner.
I don't like this.
The national championship
He had to be sacrificed.
winning field goal kicker of the Michigan Wolverines. So the Detroit Lions announcing that. I don't know if you have that tweet as well. Perhaps not. But
doesn't matter.
Nonetheless, just want to show the people how official it is. That it came from the Lions official channel. So, James Turner, I'm surprised by that.
I was looking for a 3-man fight.
I guess I just don't understand why you can't let it go to camp unless they've seen everything they needed to see out of James Turner and he's just not the guy. I would say, so much of football is mental too. Like, you got a guy that can make championship winning kicks. It's not just swinging it with nothing on the line.
Right.
Not saying that Jake Bates is just swinging it with nothing on the line. But
he's swinging it with not the same guys rushing him.
Yeah.
Not the same guy holding him, and it's going to be different for him.
Yeah, look, University of Michigan.
Let it play out is what I'm saying.
I'm currently wearing University of Michigan, so I support my guys. I think this is one of those things where kicker has been a sore spot for the Lions for the last, 4 years, 5 years or so. It's a sore spot. It's a very, very mentally strong spot. So what you got to do is you want those players to feel more confident swinging those kicks. You got 2 guys. Let those guys fight it out. Let those guys get confidence, and one of them is going to be the guy versus 3 guys, 4 guys. And now you're trying to figure it out. So I think they just want to limit the amount of thought that these kickers are putting into making these kicks during the season, KG.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's the opposite. I think they like what they saw in Jake Bates so much that they wanted to pit him.
We did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they wanted to pit him against a veteran as opposed to having a 3-man run or a undrafted rookie versus a UFL kicker. But I believe that if he comes in and does what we know he can do, then it's his job to have. I mean, they gave him a 2-year deal. Clearly, they like what they see out of this kid, and I think he's your kicker going forward.
I think this is what you can enjoy about the UFL, though. 2 leagues merged, the USFL, the XFL, they merged, and now you're seeing quality football. Games were much better this year. The talent pool is much better than the UFL as a whole. I think you'll start seeing this more and more. You'll see players being added from the UFL coming to the NFL. So the more players you have, the more eyes you'll start to get on the UFL as well. So kudos to the UFL and shout out to the Rock, who everything he touched seems to go gold, the final boss.
They had about 28,000 in St. Louis to watch that game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty good, pretty darn good. I know the USFL had about 60,000 back in the '80s to watch the Panthers and the Stars for that opening championship. So it's not the same as it was back in the '80s. You had players coming from college.
Yeah.
You had Mike Rozier. You had Herschel Walker. This is a league. It's a developmental league. I think they did a nice job. I didn't watch a lot of it, to be honest with you. But you hear about this kid kicking, Bates. Yeah. But Turner, man, was money this year for a national championship team. And I'm not a big fan of Badgley. I know he hit the 54-yarder against the Rams.
He's still there. It'll be a two-person competition.
I'll tell you this. The Packers have Anders Carlson, very underwhelming rookie season. They're going to get the loser of Bates, and I really believe Turner will kick for an NFL team. So you got to be careful who you let go. Obviously, the Lions thought enough of Bates to not let him go interview with Green Bay.
And that's why the 2-year deal, obviously, right? I mean, you have to give him a 2-year deal so he comes to you and doesn't go somewhere else that's, more enticing or whatever. And look, I'm a big fan of Jake Bates. I think he did awesome. He made a name for himself. He's got a big leg. He can kick it. Obviously from 60, made a couple of field goals from 60 out. I just don't know how much this football team in particular is going to be swinging it from over 60 yards. I don't know.
At least it gives you an opportunity.
It's nice to have it.
Yeah, it is nice to have it in your bag. I mean, at the end of half, at the end of a game, if you're in a desperate situation, to be able to pull that out of your bag, it absolutely does. But you got to be perfect from under 50. You got to be perfect from under 50. And he was perfect in the 40s. I think he had trouble in the 30s, actually. I don't have the game log in front of me right now.
That's the extra point.
47 yards.
So we'll see what happens. I like the fact that Turner's a national champion.
Yeah.
He's kicked field goals in huge games, in big spots, in big moments. Penn State, Ohio State, the Rose Bowl. National championships online, extra points, and you may laugh at extra points. Extra points they add up.
That's why we hating on Badgley.
Yeah,
Badgley missed some extra points.
You missed some of those. And again, I don't know the roster configuration or the roster limitations to try to figure out why that couldn't play out. Here's the good news. The Lions are taking their kicking position seriously.
Yes, finally.
I think that's really,
Maz is happy.
They'll keep both. One will be a practice squad.
I don't know if you keep two
I'm
kickers.
telling you, man, they will keep both.
See, if that was the case, then I absolutely would have kept Turner.
Yeah.
Make them kick off guys.
I don't think they're keeping two kickers.
Okay.
Plus, you got Jack Fox still for kickoff. So
I don't think you're keeping two kickers.
This guy Bates was a kickoff specialist before he was a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
So he might be your kickoff guy. And don't forget, it's the new kicker. Yeah. It's the new kickoff.
Yeah. But again, I think there's something to be said about the fact that the Lions are taking their kicking position seriously. From re-signing Badgley to bringing in Turner from Michigan, who they ultimately let go today, to signing Jake Bates to a 2-year deal. This is something that probably prevented them from making the Super Bowl last year and winning the NFC Championship. This particular position, and they've addressed it.
Yeah, 100%. We've talked about, I've listened to Maz talking to his blue in the face about the kicking situation, talking about the kickers and what we need and why we can't do this and why Dan Campbell goes for it. The Patriots game, I think, is when Maz was at his wits' end. Patriots game 2 years ago, that Maz was at his wits' end. So I'm glad to see, for my man Tom Mazaway, they're taking this serious. And this will help them. To know that you got a guy in the bag. Look, you can go for it the most. You can have the best percentages. But there are going to be times or two where, the field goal is just a move to make. Yeah. And I think having a guy like that in your back pocket, you can have more confidence. And you go through games a little more unscathed at that decision.
It is called football.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
And with these new kickoff
soccer players
rules,
get pissed at you though.
I know.
With these new kickoff rules, I feel like it's important too to have a guy that can hit from 60 plus, knowing going in that you can damn near get the ball guaranteed at the 35 or 40, and you only got to get 2 first downs to have at least guaranteed points on the board.
Yeah.
I think that's important. And another thing that's flying under the radar is that the Lions take special teams the most serious out of any other team in the league. You got Dave Philp, probably the best special teams coach in the league. So I think they can do a lot with this kid, especially, like I said, if he can hit 60 plus consistently and all you got to do is get past midfield, that does wonders for the offense.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Jerry Rossberg, I told you a story about him. He was my special teams coach when I was with the Cleveland Browns, one of the best to ever do it. 3 phases, all of them are very important. And you look at this, for as much as we talk about yards increasing, touchdowns increasing, blah, 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 the NFL in the past 3 years, KG, it's gone down in terms of scoring. In terms of scoring, the NFL has gone down over the last 3 years consecutively, which means field goals, Maz, are very important to this game. The average scoring, it's gone down each year the last 3. So field goals at 3 points, you get 4 of those, you go 3 of those games, 9 points. It goes a long way in this new NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good stuff there, guys.
We got some more NFL stuff.
Yeah, you want to do some NFL right now?
Yeah,
That'd be
let's roll.
great.
Let's
Okay,
roll,
very
man.
good. Thank
Let's
you.
start here. Let's go inside the NFL. Here we go. Hard Knocks. I know you talked about it yesterday. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Hard Knocks is going to visit the AFC North. What did I tell you the best division of football was for the past year?
North.
It's the AFC North. It's going to be an in-season, probably around November or so. It's going to pop up. They will hit each team, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns. This is what the new inside the NFL, what the new Hard Knocks looks like, guys. Look at Hard Knocks, what it's become. They have got the preseason with the Giants. They've got the
midseason.
They got the camp with the Bears.
Yeah, with the Bears.
And now they have the let's visit 3 teams in midseason. So it's like a 3-parter now. I guess they're trying to revive Hard Knocks. So that's what it looks like nowadays.
And that's what Netflix has done in quarterback and receiver. That's what Netflix has done. Competition is good.
Yeah.
Competition breeds innovation. And I think, look, Hard Knocks has gotten totally stale. Just the training camp, it's been watered down. It's been stale. Will these work? I don't know, but at least they're trying. And you're getting a look at something that you wouldn't otherwise get a look at. And I think that's because of competition with Netflix.
Got to give them credit for trying. You got to give them credit for trying to evolve, trying to jump into the era of Netflix. But this is just another lesson. And when you sit on your butt, when you get greedy, when you believe you know what doesn't stink and you have the formula, somebody comes up. Blockbuster thought they had the formula. They sat on their butts, didn't pay attention to Netflix. Now Blockbuster is no more. Netflix is king. We're talking about their show. Hard Knocks was amazing. I was on Hard Knocks in 2010, but we all know the best Hard Knocks of all time was the Baltimore Ravens, and it brought you in. And then the Dallas Cowboys did an amazing job too. It brought you in. They thought they had the keys to the formula forever. Here comes Netflix. Here comes receivers. Here comes quarterbacks. So just because you're ahead doesn't mean you're going to stay ahead. You got to keep moving that chain. You got to keep evolving.
Yep.
Hey, Brandon Ayuk, yesterday, the guys talked about it. Popped yesterday. He goes on a podcast. Not a podcast. Who did he talk with on a FaceTime?
He's talked to everybody and their mama about it, to be honest.
Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels like, what's up? What's up, Brandon? He's like, they told me they don't want me. They, meaning the San Francisco 49ers, have told Brandon Ayuk, look, man, we're not going to get this deal done with you. Who do you think now is the best fit for Brandon Ayuk, or does he still stay with the 49ers?
Oh, I got this team.
Before I figure out who's the best fit, this is what the problem is. A lot of times, when change is good, change is necessary. Look, I'm happy these guys are getting paid nowadays. They're supposed to get paid. They're supposed to get the money they deserve. Brandon Ayuk, one of the young and up-and-coming wide receivers that made some plays. Hell, he made one on the Detroit Lions last year in the NFC Championship. But nowadays, you can complain and you can turn into a certain you-know-what or a diva or whatever just to get your money. His contract's not up till next year, and he's turning away $26 million because he believes he is a transcendent wide receiver. I got news for you, Brandon Ayuk. $26 million a year early is much more than you deserve. You look at that team. Is Brandon Ayuk the star of that team?
No.
Is Brandon Ayuk the number 2 offensive weapon on that team? Is Brandon Ayuk the number 3 offensive weapon on that team?
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
McCaffrey,
Debo Samuel,
Debo,
McCaffrey,
and Kittle.
then Kittle. Not to mention,
I think he's above Kittle.
And Debo's
okay, that's
hurt a lot.
debatable. You know what? They're a tie.
Debatable, but still third.
But still third, and now you're holding hostage.
And it's a hell of a team.
You're scrubbing your social. Like, this is why the Boston Celtics just won, and this is why other teams can't. It's a team game, and they understand that. Brandon Ayuk is a damn good receiver, not to the tune of 26, and scrubbing his social and doing all these type of things. When you're on a team that was just in the Super Bowl, let that sink in, KG.
I'll tell you where to go. Oh,
No, you're all good. And I think he was probably upset that they drafted his replacement, Ricky Pearsall.
They
in the
drafted
draft.
2 players.
But I wanted to ask you guys, do you think this hurts his ability to get a contract with another team, seeing that you're putting your business on TikTok?
No, because this is what sport is nowadays, especially in the NFL. So I don't think it hurts because he's still a darn good player. You see what he's on and off the field. He's a good kid. He's dialed in. So he's a blocker as well as a wide receiver in terms of reception. Doesn't hurt him. It's just annoying at the end of the day.
2 places. Number 1, first and foremost,
Chargers.
the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah. You go pair up with Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. My goodness.
They need receivers too.
That is
Justin
a team.
Herbert alone.
That is a team that can make you
Quentin
become
Johnston.
that guy that I think you want to be.
Oh, I got the other one too. I know where it is.
And the other one to me is that not even on this list. It's the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Now I don't know what their cap space is like. But you put that guy with Derrick Henry in the backfield,
Zay
Flowers, and Lamar Jackson,
Rashawn Bateman.
and Mark Andrews
that's
at tight
an
end. You've got yourself something.
How about the kid he was
Not
talking
bad.
to, Jaden Daniels? Who's he play for?
Washington Commanders.
How
I
about
wouldn't
that?
want to play with a rookie quarterback. I wouldn't want to. Not at $26 million. That's my personal preference.
Here's a question. There's another team on there. Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He got Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. Brandon Ayuk on the other team. And then you put my guy in the slot out of Purdue. I forget his name right now. Brandon Ayuk. There you go. That's an interesting spot. But do you like Kyler Murray is the question.
I think Arizona's going to have a really good bounce back year. I just thought their division is so tough. Sans Seattle. I think San Francisco and Los Angeles Rams are going to be 2 of the top teams in the NFC as a whole, let alone the NFC West. I think it's just a tough deal.
I agree.
But I really like Arizona this year.
Ravens is a good one. You snuck that one on me.
Yeah. Baltimore's a perfect team and really similar to what you have in San Francisco as well.
I know this will never happen, but the Lions are a pretty good option as well.
Yeah, but I think he is a guy that needs the football.
Yeah.
He might as well stay in San Francisco if you're going to run that type of offense.
He's going to ask for too much money, too.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I agree
You need another receiver.
I agree with you.
He's pretty good.
No, listen. I totally agree with you. But I think, part of being a Detroit Lion now is really doing what Tom Brady said. Putting team before me.
Yep.
Putting the team ahead of me. And I think one of the things that Tom Brady is saying and all these, whether it's the roast or whether it's this Hall of Fame ceremony, it's, look, we all checked our egos at the door. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. It was us. And I think you have to have that mentality. And I think in this social media world we live in, where everything is about my brand, it's really a lot harder to do that than in the past.
The one thing I will give Tom Brady pushback, he's the GOAT, all this other stuff. His Hall of Fame speech I thought was amazing. I thought he touched on a lot of things that needed to be touched on. I like when he stops in the middle of walking in, starts rapping Jay-Z lyrics off, allow me to reintroduce so all that's dope. Tom's speaking from a privileged space. And when I say privilege, I'm not talking about that type of privilege.
Not talking about white privilege.
I'm not talking about white privilege. Right? I promise you, I swear to God, I am not talking about white privilege.
About white privilege.
I am not. I'm speaking from the space. Quarterback is the one position where you don't have to brand yourself for the most part. Yeah. Tom Brady was allowed to get paid what he was supposed to get paid more than what he was supposed to get paid. And then when those times came up where he was team before, Bill Belichick did an amazing job of putting those teams together while Tom Brady was enjoying that early on success. Now, later on, it was more Tom Brady than Bill Belichick. He's operating and commenting as I see a Cybertruck go by. First one I think I've seen in Michigan. It's the Kanye truck to the Tesla joint.
No kidding.
But with that said, he's operating from that space. Tom, that's a privileged space. Wide receivers, for the most part, the history of wide receivers, you haven't had that space where you can just, sacrifice because you got enough money, and you can sacrifice money so that you can be a part of the team because you may not be here today, or linebackers or offensive linemen, etc. So sometimes, Tom, pipe down a little bit because everybody's not a quarterback that they get their money. Peyton didn't have to complain. Tom didn't have to complain. Aaron Rodgers didn't have to complain. Insert quarterback from Tom's
But
era.
a lot of those guys, though, that a lot of those guys that
Ben Roethlisberger
ultimately did go get paid. You know, like the Danny Amendolas of the world. So, it wasn't that they didn't go get paid. They just didn't get paid with the Patriots. You know,
Danny's biggest contract was
the Lions, wasn't it?
No, it was the Patriots contract.
Miami?
Because he
Who
left.
am I thinking of? Wes Welker?
Wes Walker's biggest contract was
Miami?
the Patriots because he was with Miami, then went to the Patriots. Danny Amendola was with the Rams, then went to the Patriots. Wes left the Patriots and went to the Broncos and Peyton Manning. Like when they got there, they didn't win championships after they left. The only guy to get championships was LeGarrette Blount.
Either way, I think the idea of being a member of the Detroit Lions is a little bit different than, hey, you come here and be yourself. No, you come here and you're part of a whole.
Agree.
You're part of the whole. And I think that's why the Lions are different now.
I agree.
Remember I talked about earlier in the show about the Jets being in a little bit of hot water?
Yes.
Hassan Reddick signed with the Jets. And he told them, look, you give me the money, I'm going to be at every practice. I'm going to be anything you want, I'm going to be there. I'll attend off-season camp. Well, guess what? He didn't. And a lot of people in New York are writing, did he lie to the New York Jets? Because he looked at that team and he's like, well, they don't have this guy. They don't have this guy. They need me. I can do what the hell I want. And then you got Aaron Rodgers out on his whatever the hell he's doing, ayahuasca. This team is supposed to contend for the AFC East title this year. This is their year. And two of their biggest players have not been at camp yet.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
Robert Saleh he's in trouble.
Well,
if you ask me.
he's in over his head as a head coach, I feel like. But when you don't have a quarterback, it will make any coach feel like they're in over their head. Show me a team without a quarterback, and I'll show you a team with a coach that looks like he's in over his head.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If Aaron Rodgers is playing this year, and I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers, I'm talking about having Zach Wilson last year. Nobody cares that Micah Parsons isn't in Dallas' mini camp, do they?
Nope.
I don't see a bunch of stories written about that. It was a one-day story. Yeah, Micah's not here. Like mini camp, you start getting into training camp.
Yeah.
Which training camp starts in less than a month for a lot of teams in the NFL. Then I'll have a conversation with you. But mini camp, I don't care.
But it was mandatory.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So is a lot of mandatory mini camp in Dallas too.
This is where Robert Saleh could have quieted some of this down. He turned a one-day story again into a two-day story, and now it's a 2-week story. Yeah. If Robert Saleh would have came out in that press conference and said, "Hey, look, Hassan Reddick, Aaron Rodgers, neither one of them will be here. We've talked to them. We understand what's going on. We're perfectly fine with it." He didn't have to say excuse or any excuse. No. We've talked to him. We know what's going on. We're in communication. We're good. Moving right along to what Breece Hall brings. Moving right along to Quentin Williams in year 4. Like if you say that, now media isn't going to write these stories. But now you talk about it's inexcused. It's inexcused. I talked to Aaron, but that's inexcused. Now people are going to poke more holes in the story. They're going to ask more questions. Yep. And this is New York. Oh, yeah. You can't do that. Robert Saleh, some jobs aren't for everybody. In New York, it ain't the job for everybody.
I brought home 3 New York Posts. I forgot to bring them in. I know you love reading the Posts. I brought them for you guys.
I love the New York Post.
There's nothing like getting a New York Post in your hand, getting the dirty fingers. It was just fantastic.
Oh,
being
man,
back home
it's so
again.
good.
It's just so good.
Oh, man.
How about this? 3 former Pittsburgh Steelers stars. We're talking about Plexico Burress, Ike Taylor, and Jerome Bettis. All 3 of their sons have enrolled at Notre Dame.
Now, if you're Plexico Burress, okay, no, Michigan State is that's not happening.
I guess not.
I mean, if you're going to Alabama or Florida or somewhere down south or out west, but if you're staying in the Midwest, you're not going to Michigan State.
If I'm Plexico Burress, who played with Ike Taylor. I used to hate Ike Taylor. I used to hate Ike Taylor.
Ike Turner.
No. Well, that's why I hated. He was very physical in the line of scrimmage. A lot of holding, a lot of slapping at my face mask. Never got the fakes call. He was good. But anyway, you play with these guys. These guys' sons grew up together. They want to go to the same school, so I get that. But just Plaxico by himself, if I'm him and I'm looking at Michigan State over the past how many years, and I'm looking at what this program has become.
Why you want to go there?
I'm not sending my son up there if I don't believe in the president, I don't believe in the AD, and I don't believe in this new coach, especially after how you hired the last coach.
Well, that part. I mean, you'd have to believe in the coach, and they got that quarterback. I think that quarterback.
Aiden Childs.
Yeah, he's supposed to be okay. I mean, I don't know. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but Notre Dame hadn't done anything in quarter century either.
Yeah, Notre Dame was 11-2. 2 years ago? They were 10-3 last year. They got a new coach in Freeman that you believe in out of Marcus Freeman out of Ohio State. I believe in the direction of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been 10 or more wins the last 5 years in a row. I believe in that direction more than the Michigan State, where I'm like, Mel Tuck coming? Is he coming? Now you got the new guy, Jonathan Smith. Is he going to be able to coach in the Big Ten? And you've integrated the Big Ten with all these other new teams, USC, Washington, Oregon.
Yeah. That's another point about Notre Dame. What are you going to do if you're Notre Dame? If you're not in the SEC, if you're not in the Big Ten, if you're not in one of these power conferences now, I mean,
they must have a plan.
Are they
They must think they are bigger than everything. They think they're Blockbuster.
Find out.
No.
They think they're Blockbuster. Like you brought up Blockbuster. They forgot about Netflix.
Yeah, this is true. This is 100%. I think Notre Dame, the window passed. I think now they don't know what to do. I think the window passed on them to make a move that would have carried the name. That would have, hey, Notre Dame joins the Big Ten. Notre Dame joins the SEC. Notre Dame joins the ACC. And it's a big move. It's a big splash. Maybe even Notre Dame could have overtaken the Big Ten if they would have joined 3 years ago. Maybe they could have overtaken the ACC if they would have joined 4 years ago. Now they're stuck in like purgatory. You join the SEC? You join the Big Ten? The ACC is no more. So it's
they could join the Big All-State.
One more man.
They've always been the perfect Big Ten team. I don't know why they don't do it, but they just got their noses up in the air, and that's just what it is. The Baltimore Ravens have a helmet and a uniform that they're going to wear once this year. Let's take a look at Purple Rain.
Gorgeous helmet.
Look at that gorgeous thing.
Gorgeous.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That might be the best helmet in football.
Ooh, they're going to wear it
with
once.
The gold outline? Stop
Yep,
it.
and their uniforms are going to have the nice look to them with the gold numbers. It's a nice looking uni. I wonder when they're going to wear them.
That's vicious.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
They almost look like Viking uniforms, though. Almost.
Look at that.
Look at that helmet.
But that helmet is sick. That helmet.
How
is
often
crazy.
do we see a uniform that you say that fast?
That's sick.
Like, even when we've seen some good ones, we've been like, okay, you know what? That's not bad. I like they did this, but you're still analyzing it. As soon as you put that up there, I said, no, that's fire.
Yeah,
That
that's
thing's
fire.
sweet.
That's fire.
That thing is sweet.
It is.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Baltimore
Dirty
Super Bowl
How
versus the
beautiful,
Lions.
man. I love that purple.
Yeah,
Love
no
it.
doubt.
That's why I always liked the Vikes just because they're unis,
I like purple
man.
too.
They're
Purple is-
unis, man.
I like Washington. When I was growing up, I like University of Washington. Like purple is
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's color
It hit
royalty.
different.
Guys, I want to take a break real quick, and then I want to talk a little Tigers. I want to talk a little hockey tonight. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Tom Azaway and KDK Law.
I don't have KDK. You do, Ryan.
I do. Thank you. I thought I had it too,
Yeah.
Pete Spivak. Thank you. Let me tell you
Get it together,
about
Pete.
KDK Law. Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10+ years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan that QR code right there above my head. Or you can call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you. KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
What do you tell the bad guys when they see that black and yellow sign outside your house?
Stay out.
That's right. Get Guardian Alarm. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. That's why you got to call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's right. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent ya. We'll be right back.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Attention sports fans, don't miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of the Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy, Thursdays right here on Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Great stories as well. Trust the guy at DMAC Trusts. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce. Here he'll keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Dr. Pierce.
Speaking of trust, when we Woodward Sports, we recommend something to you. You better trust it because we trust our partnerships, and we trust that with Soroki's. Soroki's is a place of Nashville hot. It is back before a limited time only. Fire, and I mean that pun intended. The pizza, the sandwich, all the chicken tenders, and the fries, always aflame, always on fire. But if that's too hot for you, I got you. Just get the crispy chicken. That's what they're known for with the pizza or the sides and salad. They do it fresh. They do it every day, and they're popping up all over metropolitan Michigan. And you thought I was going to forget. Don't forget about those biscuits. Right now, they may be. In fact, I think they are number one in the business. Get the biscuits. Get Soroki's while it's hot. It's popping up everywhere.
Hey, guys, awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You can walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
How about that?
All right.
Guys, just quickly on the Tigers. This Reese Olson cat.
Yeah. Poor bastard.
This poor guy. I mean,
Can't buy you in.
He cannot. He throws a gem last night, and I do believe it was a gem last night.
Against the Braves? You bet your ass.
To hold that offense to 1 run was remarkable. Reese Olson, 6 innings. He held him to 0 runs, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 Ks.
Wow.
And the Tigers lose that game. Reese Olson is one of the most snake-bitten pitchers I can remember in a long time for the Detroit Tigers. They just cannot win when he starts
2 and
baseball
12
games.
in his starts.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, he's posting a 3.39 earned run average. To hold the Braves to no runs, they lose 2-1 on an Albies home run in the 8th. They just can't get the hits when they need it. We all know, man. Now they're 4 games under 500, and they're 6 back of the wild card as the trade deadline is, a bunch of weeks away here. Not too far away. So it does not look like Chris Ilitch is going to be reaching in his pocket anytime soon.
Just quickly, only 3 of his 12 outings, he has not given his team really a chance to win the game. In 3 of 12. That's pretty darn good.
That's damn good.
This has been the consistent narrative all season. You've had outstanding pitching, but you've had no hitting. Whether it's Javi Baez, whether it's we can go up and down the freaking roster. We haven't had consistent batting, but the pitching has been lights out. You look at what Flaherty is doing. You look at what Tarek Skubal is doing. Skubal, the best pitcher in the game right now. You look at what Reese Olson is doing. You just named his ERA. You talked about 3 out of 12 games. 9 games he didn't get help. The bats have not helped. You saw what the Astros did with Jose Abreu. Might be time to do that with your man Javi Baez.
Yeah,
well, you just look at the Tigers now, too.
It's what it is at this point. They're 5.5 games back. It's over.
He's injured.
5 was the number. They're 5.5 back now. It's over.
You just talk about how important the next couple of weeks are. I mean, you're really coming up to a critical stretch, and I just don't see it. I think this team is absolutely a seller at the deadline.
Yeah.
I mean, you just – okay, so they've got 2 in Atlanta, and then they've got the Chicago White Sox. Okay,
is that the home? Is that the homestand?
The homestand with the White Sox.
I'll be there Friday.
It's got a great homestand actually. Chicago White Sox, and then Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Philly's coming here.
Yeah, Philly's come here.
What's the Friday game?
Friday game is White Sox. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, White Sox, which is terrible. I'm going on a golf trip this weekend, so I can't see my buddy.
I'll be there Friday and
Chris
Sunday.
Getz, yeah.
I'll go with you.
Hey, make sure I go with the White Sox.
But, yeah, they might.
Because they don't play good at home.
But, again, look at this. You've got Philadelphia. Okay, then you got at Los Angeles, where they never play well.
Yep.
And then at the Twins, at the Reds, and then you're home against Cleveland and the Dodgers. This thing could get ugly.
That is harsh.
Really, really quick. And I think it was fun for a while. And, one of the things tonight, so basketball was over last night. Yeah. I do believe hockey is over tonight. And we are left with just a horrific next 8 weeks, essentially. The next 8 weeks are going to be brutal.
The Tigers in the
when
space
it comes
now.
To sports.
The Tigers in the space now for me, and I'll be at the game Friday as a part of the Father's Day deal that we're doing with our family, and I'll be there Sunday throwing out the opening pitch.
Oh, that's great.
But outside, and I love the Tigers, but outside of that, if Tarek Skubal is not on that mound, I am not watching the Tigers for the rest of the season. Tarek Skubal or bust for me.
Casey Mize goes tonight against Atlanta's. This kid's from Saginaw, Spencer Schwellenberger. He's like their number 3 ranked rookie. Gets his first start tonight. Watch him throw no-hitter through 6, probably.
No-hitter.
As the great Mike O'Hara used to say, the Tigers are facing an insurmountable 0-0 tie
I'm surprised the Tigers haven't given up a no-hitter yet. I'm surprised with the way
the other night.
That's what I want to say. With the way the bats have been this season, I'm super surprised some pitcher hasn't thrown a no-hitter on us.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, too, because I really thought this was a year that Tigers could do some damage, and you were counting on, guys like Spencer Torkelson or Kerry Carpenter or Riley Green, who had 2 homers the other day and he had an RBI single yesterday, I believe. But it's just not working out. There's just nobody in that lineup that you point to.
Well, you lose Carpenter. They lost him. That's a huge loss.
I know it is. Yeah. I know it's a loss, but you're counting on a guy that's not here. I don't care why he's not here.
Right.
Whether he could be in AAA or he could be hurt. The bottom line is they're not here.
I read
and these are your core players.
Right. Yeah.
Lynn Henning's got a good article out in Detroit News if you want to check it out.
What's
He's
up,
basically put a timetable on Parker Meadows, Spencer Torkelson, their catcher. They got a catcher coming up, and they got a third baseman coming up. He put a timetable on all of them. Guess where he has Spencer Torkelson coming back? Not for a while yet.
Yeah.
But he's supposedly rounding into form, as is Parker Meadows, both in their OPS is in the 800s. But again, against AAA Toledo, against AAA teams, it's a different matter. But it's a good read if you guys want to catch up to see how far away the Tigers are. But like you said, Rye, I think Scott Harris is a dealer at the deadline.
And again, it's one thing.
Flaherty's gone.
Right.
You can book it.
But again, it's one thing to be a dealer, but are you a good one? That we'll
find out.
We still don't know anything about Scott Harris.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the Pistons, right? Like, think about the Pistons for a second. Did Troy Weaver ever do anything that gave you any confidence that he was going to turn this thing around? No.
None.
None. We always talk about the Pistons being, they were one of the few teams in the NBA that have won 3 NBA titles. Yes, with the previous owner. Has this owner made any decision since he's owned the team that gives you any confidence that they're going to turn it around?
Nope.
Conversely,
T-shirt night.
Conversely, that's true. Conversely, has Scott Harris, in the limited time he's been here, made really any significant move that makes this ball club better?
No, and I think the limited.
No, it's what I'm saying is you can trade Jack Flaherty all you want, but does Scott Harris give you any confidence that he's making the right deal for your fruit?
JD Martinez should have been here,
or Matt Olson.
JD Martinez.
Or Matt Chapman, not Matt Olson, Matt Chapman.
I'm just talking about a guy that barely got an offer from the Mets.
Yeah.
Guy was hanging out there. He had 100 RBI last year with the Dodgers. He's starting to heat up now.
And is that an owner issue? Then it's the owner issue, And I saw Bally's, by the way, they tweeted out some
stats since they lost
No, they
Comcast?
tweeted out some thing with that and deleted the tweet because the things were so brutal.
Oh God!
Really? Wow. Yeah, it is bad.
And they haven't fixed that yet either.
No,
Bally's and Comcast.
Well, it goes back, Brady, to what I was talking about. I mean, NBA is over, NHL is over. That's really how I've gotten through my summer. And I've got the MLB app, so I watch all the games. I watch a lot of Yankees. I watch a lot of Dodgers. I watch a lot of Phillies. I watch the Phillies a lot. I watch the Mets because I like their announcers. They got the best announcer crew.
Try the Orioles announcer.
Yeah, Orioles are good too. I watch the Orioles, but I don't watch the Tigers at all. They're dead to me right now, and it's not. I guess it is their fault because if they were good, it would make me want to watch them, but they're not.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, in a limited space, you don't want to be over judgmental, but this offseason, Scott Harris had a chance. You knew what this bullpen was going to be. You bought in Flaherty for a reason because you believe in Chris Vetter, the pitching coach. He's done an outstanding He's done an outstanding job with his pitching staff. You didn't get bats. This was a very pivotal all season to get bats. You get a couple bats, some of the names you name, and maybe even some other guys, you have a chance, and then you got the type pitchers that can win you a playoff series. They didn't make that move, and unfortunately, here in Detroit, with the Iser plan, with whatever the hell Troy Weaver's plan was, we don't believe in patience anymore. It's not about patience. Stop preaching patience and preach do. Get me some players that can play that can help this team out. I'm sorry, Scott Harris. You're on the clock. He's on the clock.
I mean,
we're tired of patience in Detroit.
Nah, I hear you. I'm definitely not in the market of telling Tigers fans to wait, but I mean, he's only had 18 months to really make his impact on his team.
Yeah.
And on MLB Network, he did go out and say that they are trying to identify the core first before spending. I keep preaching that point because, I mean, what other choice do we have? They're out of the wild card. Their offense isn't consistent to doing anything in the postseason, even if they were to make the postseason. So I think we just got to strap in, man. This is a young team. They're trying to figure out who is going to be in this core long term. And unfortunately, we're at the expense of that.
I just think, and this isn't me yelling at all. I just think when you sell me on what a guy was able to do with the World Series winning team in 2016 and the Cubs, you talk about what he was able to do with the San Francisco Giants and how he built that team up and how they consistently made the postseason. When you sell me on that, then I want to see a move or two that makes me believe that is true. And I think this offseason, not getting those real bats, I think that's somewhere I'm like, was he really the guy behind the Cubs? Was he really the guy behind the Giants? Well, not fully behind it, but was he really in those meetings having real meaningful conversation? It just makes you question that thought, and this is what he is.
Yeah, there's no doubt, man.
Yeah.
So, just looking around baseball, too, a couple of big injuries that I think.
Mookie.
Mookie Betts got hit, fractured hand. He's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Anthony Rizzo.
He was
having a lights out year for him.
Collision Sunday night. I think he fractured a bone in his wrist.
Arm. Yeah.
He went down. I was watching that game. He went down right away.
Yep.
He's a big guy, too. He fell awkwardly on that wrist. So we'll see. Yankees and Dodgers. And oh, by the way, here's the Phillies. If you guys if you love baseball,
third best odds to win right now.
Watch the Phillies. They are my favorite team in baseball. I love the Phillies.
They're dirtbags.
Yeah, they are a bunch of dirtbags.
Yeah.
It stems from the Philly mullets. Like Philly's always been this. Ryan, you weren't here, and I waited to ask you this question. What is it about the Phillies and that park that is just so electric? There is no place like it in terms of walk-up batters, in terms of walk-off home runs, in terms of when they hit home runs. It is no energy in Major League Baseball, none that compares to that park in Philly. Those fans are phenomenal. They're the best thing to watch in the playoffs. It kind of reminds you of Golden State when Golden State was doing their thing with Chase. But when the Phillies are playing in the playoffs, I'm dialed in every at bat.
Well, Yankees too, bud.
True, but
right now, Yankee Stadium obviously better than New Yankees.
28-10 at home this year.
Yeah.
That is the best home record. Actually,
that's a home field advantage for you. But
Cleveland 21-8. Well, they've only played 29 home games to the Phillies 39 home games. And how about the Seattle Mariners 27-12 right behind them?
Nice.
Seattle is a good baseball
team. They are
team,
a good
too.
team.
They've got a 9-game lead in the American League West.
Amazing.
9-game lead in the American League West. Sheesh. That is incredible. Hockey tonight. What do you think? I'm just going to throw it out there.
Go ahead.
Do you think these teams like Boston and Florida, conversely, I don't want to say lose on purpose, but do you think they say, you know what, we'd rather win at home?
Yes.
I do too. 8-1?
Yes. I watched that game. I watched it till it was 5-1, and I'm like, they're not interested. They're just not interested in playing. And Edmonton, they might have woke up. Hockey's a little different than basketball.
Yeah.
Edmonton might have found their stride. If Florida don't win tonight, this thing could go 7.
They're winning tonight, though.
They better.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics are one of the most storied franchises in sports. They have been trying this thing for the last 6 years to win it all. You know darn well that they were not winning in Dallas. You know darn well they knew they were much better than Mavs team. We asked on Friday, Ryan, we talked Friday. I said, Mavs win tonight. Boston wants to win in the TD Garden. It looked much better for the aesthetic, and it felt much better for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to be in the Garden. You're absolutely right. They do this stuff on purpose when you're that much better than the opposition.
And they were an underdog, a 1.5 dog yesterday. Boston. Not Boston, excuse me. The Oilers were a favorite in that game, even though they were down 3-0. And the Mavericks were a favorite in Game 4, if you remember. They were a 1.5 favorite, and they just blew their doors off in Game 4. Did you notice last night how they kept the stinking leprechaun open on the floor? I mean, they really made a nice display for the Larry O'Brien trophy. It was really a great looking with the confetti coming down.
Tell me that
the green and white. I mean, I hate them so much, but it's really a cool looking. It's a great atmosphere there. Same as Fenway. I despise the Red Sox like nobody's business, but to play at that stinking park, it's a great look for sports. It really is.
You don't get that if you win in Dallas.
No,
you don't get that.
No,
you don't get it.
Yeah,
it is definitely so. And again, when you have a team in Boston that has an opportunity to close it out for the first time, I think you do get a little tight. When you're Florida, you've been trying for 30-plus years to win a Stanley Cup, and you have an opportunity to close it out.
You just close it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a little tight. Yeah, I mean, I think it is a big game tonight. And if you go back, Florida had a 4-1 lead in Game 3, and Edmonton closed it they lost 4-3, but they scored 2 goals and were really threatening at the end of that game. And then they come back and win Game 4 8-1. I don't know. Florida has outscored Edmonton 7-1 in Miami so far through Games 1 and 2. I do think Florida closes it out tonight. It'll be fun.
Should be good, man. The cup is in the house.
Yeah, it is. So we'll talk to the manager of the Oilers, I'm sure, at some point.
Get Sean McDonough.
Yeah,
on.
Sean McDonough as well. Who's poor guy's battling an
He
illness.
is.
Or
He was better on Saturday.
Yeah.
He was better on Saturday.
Hey, guys, today is June 18th. But can I quickly mention to you what yesterday was?
OJ Day.
June 17th, 1994. Game 5 of the NBA Finals, the Rangers Stanley Cup parade. Ken Griffey Jr. Ties for the most homers before June 30th. USA hosts the World Cup. Arnold Palmer played his final U.S. Open round, and O.J. Simpson's police chase. That was a day. In 30 for 30, June 17th, 1994 is, to me, the best 30 for 30.
It's only an hour, though.
All time.
It's only an hour. That's the only disappointment.
Yeah.
I watched it last night, of course, on the anniversary. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's so enjoyable. What a day. I remember watching the Knicks and the Rockets and like, what the hell is going on? And NBC handled it beautifully with Bob Costas going back and forth to the newsroom, and they couldn't not show you what was going on. 95 million people tuned in that night.
The juice
95 million.
And there were only, if you go back to 1994, so there's 330 million people in the United States right now.
Yep.
How many people in the U.S. in 1994?
Oh, you talking about watching OJ?
260 million people in the country.
Almost half.
Almost half. And go back to, this is pre-social media.
Yeah.
This was all word of mouth. When you talk about the people that went to the overpasses on the freeway, I don't know if I could put into words how difficult that is to do in a pre-social media world, in a pre-cell phone world, when you basically just have a television in your house. Maybe people had some beepers back then.
Didn't OJ have a phone?
OJ had a phone, but it was only for rich people. It was a car phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Only rich people had a car phone. Like, there were people like, nobody had a car phone. Only rich people. You had a car phone. I mean, you were like
that guy.
You were him. You were him.
You want to laugh?
Yeah.
I had a car phone.
In 1990.
Yeah,
in 94.
In 94.
Stan had
Yes, I worked at a dealership in 93 when I moved here.
So it was a work phone.
Mr. Say is the guy that sold. Mike Say came in.
It was a bag phone.
It's a bag phone with the antenna and the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, I had one just because I wanted to say I had one.
Of course.
Stan had one, it just never worked.
Right. Well, he was a pro player.
He went
But you're
a pro
right.
phone.
Right. You know
You're
what
right.
I'm saying?
A bag phone.
But anyway, just what a remarkable day in the history of the country. I'll never forget that. 95 million people, almost half the country.
On your
watching
tweet,
that.
was there the actual sound with OJ?
I believe there is. Yeah, do you have that tweet?
Let's
Take
play that,
30
James.
seconds of it. Yeah.
Let's play James. Let's play it.
You've
There
been a
it
good
goes.
guy too, man. Let me tell you, I know you're doing your job. You were honest with me right from the beginning. Just saying you're doing your job.
Listen.
I know you do a good job.
Okay, thank you, but there's a lot of people that love you. Don't throw it all away. Don't throw it all away.
I can't take this.
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I can't.
You got your whole family out here.
I can't.
They love you, man. Don't throw this away.
Uh-huh.
Don't do this. They love you. Don't do it, OJ. It's going to work itself.
When you think back at that communication piece as well from the early 90s, early to mid 90s.
that was beautiful.
I mean, just remarkable that they were able to get that on there.
Tom Lang, man, did a hell of a job
he
on
did.
that phone.
Yeah, crazy.
He got OJ to get to his house.
I interviewed Harvey Levin on Fox yesterday.
Hey.
And,
wow.
Yeah. And
TMZ in the building.
absolutely. And Harvey Levin was made famous from OJ. The amount of people that had their careers made famous based on O.J. Simpson.
He was like the first one with that real-time player. Like, he had his tape recorder the whole time with video
How
clip.
about the Kardashians?
The Kardashians, obviously, but, Greta Van Susteren, the CNN legal analyst that, did the old, on the Zoom, what's his name, Jeffrey Toobin.
Oh, yeah.
Did you kill Bill Walsh?
But yeah, man, interesting. So interesting. I forgot the point I was going to make, but it wasn't a good one anyway.
It was. I'm sure it was.
I'm
sure it was.
freaking ass.
But yeah, all good, guys. What are you going to watch tonight?
I'm going to watch hockey. Hockey and baseball.
Yeah.
Hockey and baseball. I finished a series last night.
What'd you finish?
On Amazon. I finished Daisy Jones and the Six.
Oh.
Have you watched that or heard of it?
No, I have not.
It's about a rock band from Pittsburgh, a couple brothers and friends, and how they morph into it. It's like a spin-off or a take on what Fleetwood Mac went through, like Stevie Nicks and all of that. And it was very good. 10 parts, about 50 minutes each. Elvis's granddaughter, Riley Keough, was the star of that. She was great in it. It was fantastic. And now I want to watch the Jake Gyllenhaal, Presumed Innocent. That's on Netflix.
Is it Netflix or on Apple?
Netflix.
I thought it was on Apple.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it's on Apple.
I want to watch that. Now, remember the old movie with Harrison Ford? Presumed Innocent, back in the 80s or early 90s.
Okay, I think it was 80s.
Yeah, so now they made it into a television
yeah.
show. It looks really good. Like sit on the edge of your seat. Good. So I want to watch that in between all the games. But
House of Dragons
first.
came back out.
That's what's on the docket for me. And that's
House of Dragons.
What's that? I missed
House of
that.
Dragons.
Game of Thrones.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2. They've already signed for season 3. It's a prequel to Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Season
okay.
1
It's like
ended
100
in 2022. We have not seen. This is the 2024. So
if you're not a Game of Thrones guy, it's not for you.
Probably not.
So it's like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Better Call Saul was the prequel.
Definitely want to watch
Better Call
that.
Saul was pretty good. Man.
Oh, it's
Better Call
fantastic.
Saul was great.
Nobody's watching Clipped.
Oh, that's right. The episode came out, the third episode today.
I
I'm
started watching the other day.
I feel like I want Clip to be out. I feel like I
It's
want
probably-
Clip to be out and then watch it on my terms.
Yeah.
Like instead of House of the Dragons, like a Sunday night watch party kind of thing.
Right.
Clipped, I feel like I just want to watch 2 or 3 at once.
Yeah.
Clip, I need to get more of Doc Rivers and the players, kind of like winning time. I think it's so much with the young, with the young lady and just doing everything. Give me a little bit of basketball, a little bit of players, some more in the locker room. I can get dialed in. Right now, it's just like watching.
What a wild story that guy is. What do you think?
He and her. She was wild.
He was a trip, man.
Donald Sterling was a piece of work.
What a guy
What's Magic Johnson done for the black people? Remember when he said that? He was unbelievable, this guy.
And the way he did his face, like you were the real Donald Sterling, like his fingers.
He was a whack job.
Yeah.
What a whack job.
How about the girl he used to be with? What was her name?
She was a whack job.
Remember, her tricks are for kids. Don't you remember?
She's super wild and super spaced out. Also, for me, it's like interesting to watch as a player to give you some insight of what some, obviously not all, owners are like. It pisses you off a little bit.
Mostly weird people, I would say.
100%.
Like, I would say most billionaires
eccentric
are very weird, eccentric people.
Yeah.
And I don't know that.
But how much money you got to be almost?
It's just my guess.
Yeah.
You are the billion.
Steve Cohen seems like he's a pretty cool
They ain't
dude.
like you and me.
No.
Like I don't care how you're voting. I don't care who you're endorsing for president.
Right.
You don't know nothing about me.
It's true. You ain't lying.
You know
you
what
won't
I
find
mean?
out anything.
All these billionaires. Hey guys, this was fun today. We'll do it again tomorrow, shall we?
This is good. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ermanni and Edwards with Mass. KG, great job. And then James, great job in the booth. We appreciate you for tuning in. More to come tomorrow. Go Edmonton. I think the Oilers got a shot. Go Edmonton. Go Edmonton. See you guys
Manager of the
tomorrow.
Oilers.